The Sunken Secret, La Lune and the Robot That Found It. A secret beneath the waves. Beneath the calm blue waters of the Mediterranean, near the southern coast of France, lies a secret that has been kept for more than 3 centuries. It is the story of a ship lost to time, a vessel swallowed by the sea in a single tragic night.
But the science. On this channel, we decode real DNA, uncover lost ancestries, and bring ancient genomes to life through cinematic storytelling. If that excites you, subscribe for weekly insights. Like the video to support science-based history, and drop a comment. Your questions help guide what we explore next.
A ship called La Lune. But this is not just a story of wreckage and ruin. It is the story of a new age of exploration, when machines shaped like us, with hands that can grasp and eyes that can see in the dark, descend into the deep to bring history back from the abyss. This is the story of the treasure of La Lune and the humanoid robot that uncovered it. Louis XIV and the Age of Naval Power. The year was 1664. France stood under the rule of Louis XIV, the Sun King, a monarch determined to make his nation the greatest power in Europe. To rule the land was not enough. The oceans, too, had to be claimed. And so Louis ordered the expansion of his navy. Dozens of warships were built, each a symbol of his wealth, ambition, and divine right to rule. Among them, one vessel gleamed brighter than the rest, La Lune. The making of La Lune. Built in Toulon, La Lune was a floating fortress. Her wooden hull stretched over 40 meters. She carried more than 400 sailors and soldiers. Her decks bristled with 60 heavy cannons. But she was more than a weapon of war. She was a stage, a theater of power. Gold leaf lined her carvings. Banners flew proudly. On her voyages, she carried nobles, diplomats, and spies, along with soldiers bound for distant battles. Every nail, every plank, every cannon was meant to remind Europe that France was rising. The mission and departure. In the summer of 1664, La Lune was assigned to a special mission. She was to transport French troops returning from the southern Mediterranean, where Louis had flexed his power in a show of naval might. In her cargo were more than men. Crates of weapons, sealed chests of documents, diplomatic gifts, and, it was rumored, treasures meant for the king himself. She departed the port of Toulon in late October, her decks crowded, her hull heavy. Life at sea in the 1600s. Life aboard was a mix of hardship and grandeur. Sailors slept in hammocks, their bodies rocked by the rhythm of the waves. Their meals were hard bread, salted meat, and thin beer. Rats scurried in the corners. Disease spread quickly. Yet in the officers' quarters, music played, wine was poured. Noble passengers debated politics under candlelight. On this ship, the world was divided into 2, the hard labor of the many and the luxury of the few. But there was a shadow over this voyage, fear of plague. Some believed the ship carried men who had been exposed to sickness in distant ports. Others whispered that the ship had been overloaded, her hull too strained to carry so many souls and so much cargo. Whatever the truth, fate was already sealed. The night of the disaster. On November 6, 1664, as La Lune approached the French coast, tragedy struck. Eyewitnesses from nearby vessels later recalled hearing a thunderous crack. The ship groaned, tilted, and began to break apart. Panic swept the decks. Soldiers and sailors screamed. Some leapt into the black water, clinging to debris. Others were dragged under as the massive hull collapsed. Within minutes, La Lune vanished beneath the waves. Over 700 lives were lost. Not a single chest of treasure was ever recovered. Aftermath and silence. News of the disaster reached Louis XIV, but instead of a grand investigation, there was silence. The king turned his eyes elsewhere. The sea had claimed its price. For centuries, the story of La Lune was told only in whispers. Some said the ship carried gold. Others swore it held secret documents that could have changed European politics. But no diver, no salvage crew could find her. The wreck was lost to time. Centuries of mystery. Generations of fishermen spoke of shadows on the seafloor. Divers claimed to see shapes in the dark, but each attempt ended in failure. The wreck lay too deep, the waters too dangerous. La Lune became a ghost, a legend buried 100 meters below the surface, beyond the reach of human lungs, beyond the endurance of human divers. Then, centuries later, technology offered a new hope. At Stanford University, a team of engineers and archaeologists dreamed of a machine that could explore where humans could not. They called it Ocean One, a humanoid robot not just to dive, but to touch. With cameras for eyes, sensors for skin, and mechanical arms that mimicked the dexterity of human hands, Ocean One could do what no machine had done before: recover fragile artifacts from the ocean floor without crushing or losing them. Preparing the dive. When Ocean One was ready, the question became, where should it dive first? The answer was inevitable: the Mediterranean, the ship of legends, La Lune. In 2016, the French Ministry of Culture granted permission. A team of engineers, scientists, and archaeologists gathered on the research vessel André Malraux. Their mission: to send Ocean One where no diver had ever reached. There was excitement. There was fear. If the robot failed, centuries of mystery would remain untouched. If it succeeded, history itself might rise again from the depths.
The first glimpse. The outline of the ship emerged slowly from the shadows. Broken beams, scattered cannons, and shattered masts created a maze that had remained untouched for over 3 centuries. Every movement of the robot had to be precise. One wrong turn could damage priceless history. As Ocean One maneuvered among the debris, the team above gasped. This was not just a wreck. This was a frozen moment in time, a silent witness to tragedy and human ambition. The first artifacts. Ocean One sensors detected shapes buried in the sand. A ceramic vase, remarkably preserved, emerged first. Its smooth surface, once handled by sailors long gone, had endured centuries of salt, pressure, and currents. Using the robot's delicate touch, the team guided it to lift the vase, placing it in a recovery basket designed to protect it. It was a small step, yet monumental. History had been touched again, for the first time in 350 years. The treasure chest. But the vase was only the beginning. Ground-penetrating sonar revealed geometric shapes beneath layers of sediment. One object stood out: a wooden chest reinforced with metal bands, wedged beneath fallen timbers. The robot's articulated hands worked slowly, clearing debris with care. Each movement transmitted tactile feedback to the operator above. It was a dance of human intuition and robotic precision. Lifting the past. Hours passed as Ocean One freed the chest from its underwater prison.
Finally, the robot lifted it from the wreckage. The weight and balance suggested it was sealed and contained something significant inside. Centuries of mystery now rested in a fragile wooden container, the contents untouched since the Sun King's reign. A time capsule. Back on the surface, the chest was transferred to a conservation laboratory. Here, the team faced a delicate challenge, opening it without causing damage. The chest had been perfectly preserved by the stable, high-salinity waters of the Mediterranean. Inside, they anticipated treasure, but nobody could predict the full scope of what waited. Opening the impossible. Using specialized tools, conservators slowly separated the lid. The room was silent. Cameras rolled. Inside lay objects that seemed frozen in time. Gold coins gleamed despite centuries underwater, each stamped with Louis XIV's likeness. Beneath them were rolls of documents, their oiled cloth wrappings still intact, revealing royal correspondence and secret orders. At the bottom lay a jeweled pendant bearing the royal seal, proof of authority aboard the ship. The secret mission. The documents told a story never recorded in history books. Lune had been on a secret diplomatic mission, carrying more than soldiers and gold. It had been transporting intelligence that could have influenced European politics. The coins, the pendant, the papers, all were tools of espionage, part of a mission hidden from the world until this moment. Uncovering covert operations. The evidence revealed a hidden war waged not with cannons, but with secrets. French spies, coded messages, and clandestine meetings were all part of the Sun King's plan. Had the ship not sunk, Louis XIV might have gained a decisive advantage over his rivals. Ocean One had not only found treasure, it had unearthed a narrative of intrigue, power, and lost history. The shock of discovery. Historians were stunned. The finds challenged everything known about 17th century naval operations. Every coin, document, and artifact provided new insight into life aboard royal ships. And the realization spread quickly. If one ship held such secrets, how many others were waiting beneath the waves? The ocean as a time machine. The discovery highlighted the ocean as a vast, untapped archive. Centuries-old vessels preserved by pressure, temperature, and salinity could tell stories never recorded on paper. Ocean One's success proved that humanoid robots could explore these depths safely, unlocking mysteries that humans alone could never reach. Ethical questions. But the discovery also raised difficult questions. Should such treasures be removed or left as underwater museums? Do we disturb graves to uncover history or respect the silence of those who perished? The team debated, realizing that every recovered artifact carries responsibility not just to history, but to memory itself. The future of exploration. Ocean One's journey marks the beginning of a new era. The robot demonstrated that exploration can combine human curiosity with machine endurance, opening the doors to shipwrecks across the world. The Sun King's secrets have resurfaced, shining light on a hidden chapter of history. And while the Mediterranean holds more mysteries, one thing is clear: the age of deep-sea exploration has only just begun. The humanoid robot that found Louis XIV's treasure gave us more than gold and jewels. It offered a window into a hidden world of power, espionage, and stories